Hey y'all, let's talk about the latest immigration news updates. There's so much going on. They're trying to change things, they're trying to charge you more. So let's talk about it and see what we can actually get out of this news to see how you can better prepare for filing your application for being in this US immigration system because it is always changing and you want to stay up to date. And that's what we do here every month is just give you the quick immigration news that you need in your life to make things smooth. Okay? Because the more you know, the more you are able to prepare for the craziness that is the US immigration law system. I am Lillian Chukura. I help my clients get green cards and citizenship using the US immigration law system. I am an immigration lawyer and I enjoy what I do. Okay. Um, it's not always good news, right? So when I do these news updates, it's not always good news. However, it's necessary news. All right. If you have questions, whether it's about the news I'm about to give you or immigration in general, please feel free to put them in the comments. If you're watching in the replay and you have questions, put them in the comments. I do respond to your questions, so do not feel that you can't ask me questions. All right. So, the first thing I want to cover is the family reunification for Ecuador. Okay. We're going to start off with some good news. I know, but we are going to yeah. But we are going to start with some good news, and that is for people from Ecuador because now they have family reunification just like Haiti, Cuba, right? So, with family reunification, please remember this is for people that already have an I-130 approved and they're waiting for their visa to become available. Okay, this is for people that already have an I-130 approved, waiting for a visa to become available. You'll be getting an email or letter from National Visa Center, not from USCIS. Yes, USCIS approved your I-130, but the National Visa Center is the one that actually allows you to process your visa application for that family member. So the petitioner, the person in the US filing the I-130 for someone outside of the US will either get an email or a letter from the National Visa Center. When you get this, they're basically going to tell you your case has been selected for family reunification and you need to get the forms done. And if you don't get the forms done, then nothing happens, right? Then you just wait out the regular visa processing time. But if you get the email saying that your case has been selected for family reunification, you want to go ahead and fill out the forms. It's the I-134A. It's similar to the humanitarian parole that is also issued for Haiti. Um, but it's going to be specifically because you already have an I-130 approved. So it's really important that if you change your address, since your I-130 was approved, that you are updating your address. If you change your email, you no longer have access to that email, update it. And where do you update it? With the National Visa Center. They have an online inquiry form. So the National Visa Center online inquiry form is where you want to do that. You want to go there, you want to put in your information, the case information, and then on the bottom it's going to ask you what do you want from the National Visa Center. So if you need to update your address, if you need to update your email, that is the place to do it. So the petitioner needs to update their information with the National Visa Center so that they can actually get the letter or the email. The next good news is for people from Cameroon that are in the US. Okay. If you're from Cameroon and you're in the US and you do not have any legal status in the US, you don't have work authorization, and you have been in the US before October 5th, 2023. So October 5th, that was a few months ago, right? That was a month ago, right? So October 5th, 2023, if you have been in the US, you can you can apply for TPS. So before if you came in October 6th, I am very sorry, you would not qualify. But if you came in October 4th, if you came in October 5th, and you are from Cameroon and you have been continuously residing in the US since October 5th, 2023, and you have continuous physical presence since December 8th, 2023. So December 8th is still coming. So if you met the requirement for residing in the US, however, you had a brief trip outside of the US and then you came back, that can still count. You just need to make sure that you are meeting with an immigration lawyer and evaluating whether that absence from the US cut off your continuous physical presence. That's really the key there. Did the absence cut off the continuous physical presence? If it did, then you're not able to apply for the TPS. However, if it didn't, so typically it wouldn't if it was brief, casual, like maybe you went to Mexico for like a week and came back, that may be fine. So it's really important to pay attention to the dates, okay? October 5th, residing. December 8th, physical presence. October 5th, residing, continuously residing in the US, and then physical presence. The only thing is, if you had any brief absences from the US, you need to talk to a lawyer, right, to make sure that those brief absences can be explained and that you can still get this TPS. What do you get with TPS? You no longer, right? If you qualify for TPS and your TPS is approved, you get a work authorization. You are you are now legally allowed to stay in the US. You can apply for advanced parole, which will allow you to travel outside of the US and come back. Based on USCIS policy, let's say you came into the US, you're Cameroonian, you came into the US without authorization, right? You came in through the border, you did not have a visa, you were not permitted to come into the US. However, you're here and your TPS is approved, you get a travel permit. According to current US policy, USCIS policy, if you leave the US on your advanced parole and return on that advanced parole, if you ever get married to a US citizen, they can file for you to get a green card in the US because that advanced parole travel and return counts as admission. Okay? If you come in without authorization and you get married to a US citizen, you have to leave the US to get a green card. But if you have TPS and you get advanced parole, you travel on advanced parole, you come back to the US, now you have admission, which means you can adjust your status in the US. So that is the beauty of getting this advanced parole if you qualify, right? Advanced parole, getting TPS if you qualify, and then applying for advanced parole because advanced parole takes time to happen, but when you get it, the benefits are abound. So really check yourself to see if you qualify for TPS for Cameroon. If you already had TPS for Cameroon, please listen up. So everything I just talked about is for people that has never had TPS for Cameroon. Okay, this is a designation. So everything I just talked about the dates, the times, everything is for people that are filing for TPS for the first time. But if you already have TPS for Cameroon, if you already have TPS for Cameroon, you can still get the advanced parole. You can still do all of that, but you need to re-register. Okay, you need to file an application to re-register for the new designation. And that re-registration is due December 9th, 2023. Okay, they give you a 60-day window. So if you had TPS before for Cameroon and you have not applied to re-register and you still qualify for TPS, right? If you still qualify for TPS, you had TPS before, it's about to expire, you need to re-register, and you need to re-register by December 9th. That means USCIS must receive your application for re-registration by December 9th. Do not mail out your application on December 9th. Ensure that USCIS has it in their hands by December 9th so that you do not have to start the whole process over again. Because if you lose your registration, you may need to file again as an initial registration. Okay, so if you need to re-register, do it before December 9th. And take advantage of the advanced parole if you qualify for advanced parole and you haven't. Another good thing about taking advantage of the TPS is if you are in immigration court proceedings and you want to get out of immigration court proceedings, once your TPS is approved, you can ask for the judge to terminate your case. You can ask DHS, which is the government attorney, to basically dismiss your case so that now you're just in the US with TPS. You're not in immigration court. There's no threat of you being deported. Okay. So that's the great things about that. Another good news. Like I said, I'm going to start with the good news and then we'll go ahead and get in the not so good news. All right. So, first good news, family reunification for Ecuadorians. You're going to get the email or the letter. TPS for Cameroon has been redesignated. So if you had it before, you need to re-register. If you are new and you've been residing in the US since October 5th, 2023, and you have physical presence from December 8th, 2023, that's future. We're on December 1st. So they're saying if your physical presence was if there was a break in your physical presence between residing is October 5th and physical presence is October 8th. Okay. So if there was a brief absence from the US, you can still get the TPS, but you have to show that it was a brief casual absence, not like you moved back to your home country. Okay. So those are the good news. The next one is USCIS is working hard to approve work authorizations. Okay, they want those things done. They want it approved. They want it out of their books, and they're approving them for 5 years in some situations. So they are really trying to clear their backlog. So new applications for, let's say, if you have asylum or TPS, if you are filing a family-based petition and you're filing a work authorization with that, they are really trying to move those along. So if you file, what we're seeing right now in my office is the new applications are getting the work authorizations are getting approved really, really fast. So before it used to be, I said during COVID and up to last year or earlier this year, it would be like 6 months to a year to get a work permit. But now we're seeing them approve a work permit in like 3 months or less. So it is a great time. It is a great time to be filing applications because USCIS really wants to get these applications out and done. Because again, they want to clear their backlog and they want to get rid of these easy cases so they can focus on the more important cases like the green card applications. So they have been really speeding up the EAD, the work permit applications. and approving most of them, unless you really don't qualify or you file in the wrong category. So that's the other thing. If you're filing a work permit, make sure you're filing in the right category. So just because you qualify for a work permit and you file the application does not mean it has to be approved. If you file in the wrong category, they're not going to change your forms. They're not going to look at your stuff and be like, oh, they filed under asylum, but they should have filed under parole. Nope. They're not going to do that for you. So you need to make sure that the category that you pick is the actual category that you qualify under. So that's what I'm seeing now too, is people being denied because they're filing in the wrong category. And if you're, if this is your first time filing for a work permit, you may not understand the difference between the categories, but the categories are very important. Okay. Especially if you're paying for the application, because the fees are non-refundable. If you're paying for the work permit and you select the wrong category, they're going to accept your fee. They're going to deny your application, and the fees are non-refundable. Imagine that. Okay? Imagine that. So, actually, remember that for when I get to the bad news. Remember that. They will deny your application and keep your fees. So, make sure that you are following through and really knowing your category. So the next thing is USCIS. If you have a USCIS online account and you have a green card application pending based on family, you may have noticed that there's something called My Progress that tells you like where your case should be in like 6 months, how long your case should take, right? Oh, your case is taking longer than, you know, expected. When you see those, it's good and bad, right? It depends on how you look at it. So USCIS is trying hard to modernize their system to make you not call them to get the progress on your case. That's the purpose of the My Progress. They want you to log into your account and see where things are and not to contact them. Basically, that's the reason they have that there. However, the My Progress is most of the time not accurate. Most of the time, it's not accurate. I've had clients, reach out and they're like, I'm looking at this. My online account says that, the next thing is going to be biometrics, but I already did my biometrics. So they're still working out the kinks in it. It's not completely ready. So don't freak out. If you see like moves one way or the other, don't freak out. It's just they're still fine tuning the whole thing. They're still trying to modernize their whole system, honestly. So it's good that they're moving towards that direction. It's bad that they haven't really dialed it in 100%. But just know it's a move in the right direction. It's a move to be able to actually see where your case realistically is in line. Because when you check the processing time, it's for all the cases, right? Not all cases, not all marriage based green card applications are the same. Some are going to be approved without an interview. Some are going to be approved only after an interview has been had. So, depending on where you are, you want to know about your case, right? Where is my case in this whole process? And that's what the My Progress will eventually be able to do. It's not doing it perfectly yet, but eventually it will be able to do that. And it's also limited on the cases that will have that My Progress. So family-based green card applications, Afghan special immigrant green card applications, TPS applications are now part of the My Progress program. So if you have an online account, you'll be able to see that if you have those type of cases. If you don't have an online account, please get an online account. It will give you peace of mind. Because sometimes you want to know if there's, if USCIS sent you anything on your case, it will be on your your My USCIS account. So that's why it's important. So if you, let's say you have a case, a green card application case, and USCIS, you see the notification that USCIS sent you a request for evidence, you know in the mail it's going to take at least 2 to 3 days to get to you. But if you have the My USCIS account, you can log in and actually click on notices, and you'll see the request for evidence right there. And once you have the information that you need to submit for the request for evidence, you can click the respond button and upload those documents. The only thing you can't upload is if they ask you for the medical exam, because they need the actual sealed envelope. But for most things, that is just copies, unless they specifically ask for originals, which 99.9% of the time they will not ask you for originals. But unless they ask you for originals, you can upload those documents. Medical exam reports have to remain in the sealed envelope, so you have to mail it all together. All right. So if they request a medical exam report and additional documentation of your relationship, for example, do not upload the additional documents and mail the medical exam, because whichever one they receive first, they're going to assume that's your full response. And since you can't upload the medical exam report and you go ahead and upload the proof of your relationship, they're going to think, oh, she's not going to send us the medical exam, it's not here, and move on. So you want to make sure that you're sending in one packet, either online or on paper. So that is the My Progress and a little plug for the My USCIS account. Now, the next things, actually, it's only 2 things on here that are not so great news. All right. So the director of USCIS, Mayorkas, was interviewed or made a speech, and he was talking about USCIS fees and how applications are down, and because applications have been down, they need to increase the fees. They may need to increase the fees to make up for the lack of applications. But here's the thing. Remember I said when you pick the wrong category, they keep your fees even when they deny it, right? Yes, applications are down, but applications are down because people qualify for less things, right? There's less things that people can apply for. Money is tight for people. Like, we are in a recession, even though economists don't want to say it, but money is tight. So people may not want to pay 1760 all at once for an application, right? When they're not even sure if it's going to be approved or not. So sometimes people would rather wait. And in those cases, increasing the fees to make up for the lack of applications don't really add up, because then you're going to make more people not qualify, right, financially to apply for these immigration benefits that you need them to apply for, so that USCIS can remain funded. USCIS is funded by the fees. They're not funded by Congress. So the budget debate that's going on in Congress is not about USCIS fees, because your applications, the fees you're paying to USCIS is what's paying USCIS. If USCIS has a shortfall, then they will go and ask Congress for money. But they have not had a shortfall in a very, very long time. And even though applications are down, they still don't have a shortfall. Because if they did, they will need to go and ask Congress for money. So, again, increasing fees only makes less people ready to file, which would then lead to more fee increases if that's how you're gauging how to increase fees. Anyway, That's my I am very much against increasing fees for USCIS because it's already so much. Okay. Um, the next not so great news for asylum and humanitarian parole. Remember, I said family reunification is technically humanitarian parole. Okay, that's what it fits under. And right now, Congress is debating and negotiating the budget, and they are trying to tie asylum and humanitarian parole into the negotiations. So instead of doing a comprehensive immigration reform, which everyone agrees is necessary, they are going to just leverage the fact that they are going back and forth on the budget and use it to get other things by limiting asylum and humanitarian parole. For humanitarian parole, they would rather even end it the way that it currently is. So that is the things that people need to know is that some of these programs, the humanitarian programs, the I-130As, if these deals are done, could end or could become very limited. Remember, the I-130A humanitarian paroles are limited to 30,000 a month that can be approved. So it can get lower than that. So it's really important that you pay attention to what's going on with that. And if you are thinking about applying for humanitarian parole for someone outside of the US under the parole program for the I-134A, do it now. Don't take the chance that they limit things and then it takes even longer than it already is taken. So go ahead, do it now and have your application already in progress. Most of the time, when they change these things, it's for new applications, not for applications already pending. Okay, so you want to get your application in before any changes happen that could negatively affect your case. All right. All right. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. I am here for you. I am more than happy to answer your questions. Oh, and I see a question from Cecilia. Hi, Cecilia. Thanks for watching. Can you take a case that has been started? Yes, but it depends on the type of case and where things are in the process. But generally, yes. So if the case has already been started and there's something that's either it's taking too long or they're asking for more things and you just want to be you want to feel more secure having us on board with you, then yes, definitely we can talk about it and help you with the next steps. All right. So if anyone else has any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. All right. And if you are watching this and you found this video helpful, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe so that you do not miss any of my future uploads. And thank you so much for joining me. Oh, Cecilia, definitely send me a message and we can schedule you for a strategy session to see the best way forward. Okay, we can help you with that. So just go ahead and schedule the strategy session. um, I'll send you the link if you send us a message. Okay. um Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, okay? And if you would like a strategy session with me, which is basically a time for you to ask me your questions and tell me about your situation, and we can kind of figure out what the next best step is for you, um, go ahead and do that. We do offer the strategy sessions weekly, so the link is in the description, but you can go to my website, lilylegal.com. And if you go to the website, you can actually schedule the appointment right there. You'll see the dates and times that I'm available and pick the one that works best for you. You can also call my office at 508-443-1788. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see y'all later. Bye.